The Alfa Romeo Alfetta, Type 116, is a front-engine, 5-passenger sedan and fastback coupe that Alfa Romeo produced and marketed from 1972 to 1987, totaling over 400,000 units. The Alfetta was notable for its rear-mounted transaxle, clutch and transmission, and de Dion tube rear suspension, which were meant to improve handling by balancing front/rear weight distribution while keeping a low polar moment of inertia and center of gravity. The interior of coupe vehicles featured an unusual center tachometer placement, by itself, directly in front of the driver. The name Alfetta, which means Little Alpha in Italian, is taken from the nickname of the Alfa Romeo Tipo 159 Alfetta, a successful Formula One car that, like its modern namesake, had a transaxle layout with de Dion tube rear suspension in its last, 1951, version. The Alfetta debuted a new drivetrain arrangement for the marque. The clutch and transmission were housed in the rear of the car, together with the differential, for a better balanced weight distribution, similar to the Alfetta 158-159 Grand Prix cars. The front suspension consisted of twin wishbones and torsion bars, while the rear suspension had a de Dion tube. When they left the factory, all Alfettas were equipped with Pirelli Cinturato 165 HR14 tires. The year de Dion transaxle found on the Alfetta and its derivatives, GTV, 90, and 75, provided good weight distribution. Recent assessments have emphasized the handling advantages. 3. The transaxle design, along with a Watts parallelogram linkage, inboard rear brakes, and a well-placed de Dion rear suspension, produced balanced traction and handling. The front suspension was unique in that it used independent longitudinal torsion bar springs that acted directly on the lower wishbones and had separate dampers. The Alfetta Saloon was introduced in 1972, with a 1.8-liter 4-cylinder engine and a 3-box, 4-door, 5-passenger notchback saloon, berlina in Italian, created in-house by Centro-style Alfa Romeo. The front end was distinguished by twin, equal-sized headlamps optically joined to a central thin Alfa Romeo shield by 3 chrome bars, while the tail lights had 3 square elements. Alfa Romeo debuted the 1,594cc, 97 cubic inches, 108 PS, DIN, Alfetta 1.6 base model at the 1975 Brussels Motor Show, with its single, bigger round front headlamp standing out. 6.7. Meanwhile, the 1.8-liter Alfetta was rebadged Alfetta 1.8 and, a few months later, mildly restyled, with a new grille with a bigger central shield and horizontal chrome bars to distinguish it from the 1.6. The engines in both versions were Alfa Romeo twin cams, having 2 overhead camshafts, 8 valves, and 2 double-barrel carburetors. 2 years later, the 1.6 received the same cosmetic and internal upgrades as the 1.8 model.